Son of a bitch. Because Mickey loves you.
Hey, you were listening to the MMO Radio Movie Show, which stands for Movie Markout. I'm Popcorn Pete, along with my partner in crime,
Vinny the Vault.
And tonight we're going to talk about a certain actor who's had his ups and downs, a roller coaster in life when it comes to movies.
And I think he's very underappreciated for what he can do, especially his early stuff. I mean, some of the early stuff that he did was phenomenal. If he was doing that stuff now, people would be like head over heels
In love with the guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, back in the day when he was a big superstar, and he was like a heartthrob.
Oh yes.
For young women.
Oh yes.
And do you think it's about time we actually mention his name?
Sure, why not?
We're talking about none other than Mickey Rourke. And Vault, I gotta be honest, I wasn't the biggest Mickey Rourke fan in the world.
Well, then you've lost something in your life, and maybe this is what you're missing.
It could be.
It could be with all these things that are going on in life, and you just don't know what you're missing in life. Maybe it's because you never watched Mickey Rourke films.
I mean, I've seen a few of them, but
he's got like 85 films under his belt.
Well, I'm not 85 years old, and
and in fact, I was looking over the list of what he did for films, and there are a few that I didn't even know he was in. And if I told you those titles, you'd probably sit there and go, "Oh, okay, so I've seen one more that he was in." Like, did you know one of the first films he did was 1941, Steven Spielberg's?
No.
Yeah, it was.
What part did he play?
I can't remember offhand, but
he was definitely in it.
He was in it. He was in that, but it was like that was like what 78 or 79, but it was a very small piece. Right. So it's probably it's probably just walked off,
like a cameo.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But I mean,
but from there, I mean, you've seen him in other films, Angel Heart, A Prayer for the Dying, Pope of Greenwich Village, which is one of my favorites. The Wrestler, which he did later on in his career.
I particularly love that movie.
Yes. I think...
and it's so funny that we talk about that, because we were talking about how his movie career went up and down like a roller coaster, and then he went into boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he makes this wrestling movie, and that was basically his big comeback.
That was his Pulp Fiction.
Exactly, like John Travolta.
Yes,
right.
That was his Pulp Fiction.
Right.
Now the biggest thing about his career was that he looked the part of the gangster. That's why in the early films he always played the tough guy. Right. And that was one of the things that you saw, especially in A Prayer for the Dying. You saw him as a IRA militant, but he had that tough guy look to him through the entire film.
Right.
Through that film, he never got soft.
No, he never did.
No.
He never did. And Eric Roberts
was in...
A Prayer for the...
No. He was in Pope of Greenwich Village.
Okay.
Bob Hoskins was in Prayer for the Dying. He was the priest.
Oh, yes. And he was from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes.
Yeah. It portrayed an awesome priest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you didn't know any better, you'd say that the way he comes across as a real priest. And one of the beauty things about that role was that he played a retired, I believe it was a retired colonel from the British Army.
Yes.
So he had that militant background. So when you have Rourke's character come and meet him, it's basically, if you step back from what you're doing, you could survive this.
Right, but the thing with his role as being the priest, like, one moment he was like, get out of here, and then the next moment he was trying to be his best friend.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think part of the thing that was with him trying to get out of there was that he saw Rourke going after his daughter, who was blind.
Right.
So obviously his daughter can't see the body language that Hoskins says, in what he's literally been living off of for years, watching people's body language.
Now, was that actually his daughter, or was it his niece?
No, I believe it was his daughter.
Because for some reason I thought it was his niece.
Well, it could have been his
but
niece.
I mean, either way.
Either way. But that's one of my favorite films of Rourke. I mean, it's not as high up. It's not as high up as Wrestler. I think Wrestler is the pinnacle of his acting.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about that later. But in this movie that we're talking about right now, I mean, he portrayed an Irishman. Put on a great dialect.
Yes, and one of the things that I loved about him is he didn't drop the accent.
No, never did.
Where you see in other films where you have American actors trying to do Irish accents or English accents or whatever kind of accent, and they can't carry it for the entire film.
Perfect example, Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed.
Well, I've got a better example, Keanu Reeves in Dracula. There are times during that he's trying to be an Englishman in the 1800s, and he sounds like a surfer dude.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Needless to say. But I think with this, he was already climbing that ladder of being there. I mean, before this film, he had done, I believe he did Pope of Greenwich Village before he did this. He did, what's the film? Year of the Dragon.
Yes.
He did that before this. 9.5 Weeks he did before this. But I think those
we'll get into that.
Yeah, but I think those were all steps coming up to this. And from this, it was up further. It's like, we really have to watch what he's doing. But I think from here on, he was making bad choices of movies. I think that's where he was really had problems with his career.
That's when the roller coaster went down the hill.
Yes.
Because, I was like, he was so popular in the 80s. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of like faded away, disappeared. You didn't hear anything from him.
He'll do one thing here, one thing there. He'll do little pieces in, well, I don't even know if they call him direct-to-video now or direct-to-disc. But
probably direct-to-disc.
Yeah, but he was doing little roles like that.
Right.
For movies that never hit the theater, but it was just a paycheck.
A lot of actors do that.
Oh yes, no, I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that that's what he was doing on those downslopes, and then you get him into movies like like The Expendables when he came back for The Expendables,
I thought he was great at.
Right.
It wasn't a big role.
No, and I believe he did Expendables the same year Iron Man 2.
I believe you're right. And
I mean, he played a great Whiplash.
Oh yeah.
And again, he held the Russian accent the entire time.
Right.
It didn't break at any point.
No. I mean, he's great when it's doing that stuff. But I mean, he was starring with another movie actor who had made a comeback.
Yeah. Who?
Who was Iron Man?
You mean Robert?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the career that he had.
Yeah.
And then he had all these problems and everything, and then he spent some time in jail, And it's so weird that, they would let him come out of jail for a little bit, film some shots, and then bang, he's back in jail. It's like, what the hell?
Well, the thing,
Who does it?
yeah, but the thing now with Downey Jr. is that now that he's no longer Iron Man, it's going to be kind of tough. He's no longer under the contract with Disney, so we'll see what happens.
Uh-oh.
Well, when you have a contract with Disney, you have to keep to a morals clause.
Oh,
so
God.
Now that he's no longer a part of that, we'll see what happens.
Did they announce who was going to replace him, or?
Oh no, that's not yet. That's not yet. That's down the road.
That's Hollywood for you.
Yep. No. That's what it is. I mean, they have got to come. They'll have a new Captain America. They'll have a new Iron Man. Thor's now part of Guardians of the Galaxy, I guess. So
yeah.
So it's going to be that whole thing is going to be kind of interesting to see where that goes in what direction.
Right, but what did you think of the Spider-Man revamp? I mean,
the newest one?
The newest one. I mean, did you think it was better than Sam Raimi's?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But the thing is that Marvel would never go, now that they get the rights back for those characters, they'll never go back to what another company did.
Right.
It's like Sam Raimi will never do another Spider-Man film because Marvel has it. Tobey Maguire will never be a Spider-Man because Marvel doesn't want him. They picked this kid here, which I can't remember his name. But
I mean, did you think he was better than Tobey Maguire?
Oh, well, yeah, kind of, because he looks like he belongs in high school. Maguire never did.
Right.
He never looked like he belonged in high school.
But I mean, that scene in Spider-Man 3 where he's, dancing
wait a
down
second.
the
Let's
street.
get back on topic here. Let's get back on topic. You always want to talk about. I don't think you dislike that scene. I think you love it.
No,
because
I don't.
I think this is this is our fifth show, and this is the third time you've brought that up.
What, Tobey Maguire?
Dancing in Spider-Man 3.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you have.
I haven't.
Yes, you have. You have.
Let's go back and listen to the shit.
Well, we'll have to, but we're not going to do it right now.
No, we're not going to do it right now, but no.
Yep, this is the third time out of 5 shows that you've mentioned it.
You know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to have the producer edit it out if it does come up true?
Yeah, well, I'll
Yeah.
I'll talk to our editor.
Okay, is there anything else you want to say about Prayer for the Dying?
Just all around great movie.
Okay.
Great movie.
All right.
Kept the accent the whole time. And I just don't know why he just kind of slipped away from us all.
Oh, well,
and went into boxing.
Well, that was his call. That's his career, and that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Nobody stopped him. So he went and did what he wanted.
Yeah, but
nobody stopped Gary Busey when he was riding his motorcycle without a helmet.
That's true.
All right. So the next film we're going to talk about is 9.5 Weeks.
Yes.
Now, I honestly have to say I've never seen it. It is on my list of of something to watch. But just like so many other things, you have to be in the mood to watch it. I am just never in the mood to watch boring porn. To sit there and watch 9.5 Weeks.
I wouldn't exactly say it's boring porn, but
what would you call it?
I would call it a very sexual movie.
Porn.
Not porn. I mean, you don't see actual penetration or anything like that, but the thing that's funny about 9.5 Weeks is remember Pamela Smart?
Yes.
Yeah. That's one of the movies that she got to show one of her students.
Oh.
And they ended up, going upstairs to her bedroom and repeating the scenes that they saw in the movie.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I wasn't there.
I know, but that has nothing to do about the movie.
Actually, it does, because...
it does it?
Yeah, they were watching the movie and they were like, hey, let's go and...
So you proved my point. It is porn.
No, it's not porn. But it's got a porn sexuality to it. So you know what I'm saying?
Right, so I need to be really in the mood to watch this.
Okay, all right. Well, it's out there.
I think it's on Netflix now. So
It is. I just watched it not too long ago.
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So
No masturbation, nothing like that. It's
well,
just...
I should hope not.
No, I mean, it's just a good movie, but, you know, it's another one of those, his earlier movies,
Mhm.
and he looks really young, and, you know, he's a good-looking guy, and, you know, women went crazy for him, and then, like I said, he just disappeared.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, that was his decision.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but, you know, definitely a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Kim Basinger was looking pretty hot. Not so much now.
Well, I mean, how many women that were real hot back in the 80s, and to look at them now. Look at Kathleen Turner.
Oh my God. Dumb and Dumber Part 2? Shit.
3, 4, whatever.
Horrible. I mean, I didn't even recognize her. I had to rewatch the movie, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's Kathleen Turner.
Yep.
Holy shit. But, yeah, you're absolutely right.
I think the last Basinger film that was any good
Batman.
was Batman. I really think that was the end of it for her. I can't think of anything afterwards. I know she screwed up her husband's when she was she married to Alec Baldwin, or were they just dating? I can't remember.
I thought she was married to him. I know she was dating Prince for a while.
Yeah, no, I think she was married to Alec Baldwin, and she screwed up his career. So you know, just so he could, you know, be with her.
But I mean, Alex made a comeback.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. Now he's President Trump.
All right, what else you got, bro?
Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is Pope of Greenwich Village.
And I'm going to be honest to you, and I'm going to be honest to the listeners out there. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen the whole thing.
Okay.
So I cannot honestly give you an opinion of this film.
That's okay, because we all know that the only opinion that counts here is mine. So, what...
You know what?
What?
You talk about me repeating shit on the same shows.
Yeah.
You're always like, oh, I'm right, you're wrong, and fuck you, and
true.
this, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck off. You know what? Fine. Great.
Okay.
You like the movie.
Oh, I love the movie.
Okay, well, talk about it.
One of the few gangster films that really isn't a gangster film.
No.
But the thing is when you get through it, you find out the whole thing rolls as him and his cousin are playing gangster from the get-go, and then when they come face to face with a real gangster, it all blows up in their face.
And they're like, oh shit.
Yeah. We've got Daryl Hannah in this.
When she was still hot?
Oh yes, again when she was still hot. Eric Roberts,
Who looked like a creep. He had that, like an afro, almost.
yeah, but I mean, tell me a early movie of his that he didn't look like a creep. I don't think you could come up with one.
I don't think so.
No, and considering
Star 80?
and considering who his sister is, you think that he'd be a lot better looking.
Exactly. You know what? That brings up a great point. Julia Roberts. I mean, beautiful, incredible.
She still is.
Yes, still is.
Yeah.
But Eric Roberts was never like.
It's like Julia got all the beauty genes and Eric didn't get nothing.
Right. It's kind of like twins.
Yeah, true. And who's the gangster in this? Oh, Burt Young, who everybody knows from Rocky as
fan.
Paulie.
Yep.
He plays a great gangster in this, and they call him Bedbug because he's just crazy as shit, and he can't stand the name. but everybody still uses it. And when they get down to the point where the gangsters corner Eric Roberts and they take his thumb as payment for robbing him, it's like, whoa, that's they don't show it, but just the look on Robert's face, you can tell he's in agony.
Right.
And then later on, when he's got the bandage and he's got his hand all bandaged up and everything, it's tear jerking watching him. He's like high up on the meds, and then of course all the adrenaline is running in his body too. And then at one point he's just talking straight. He's just just acting crazy. And then all of a sudden he just looks at his hand and realizes the thumb's gone, and he just breaks down.
Right.
And it's like your heart gets torn watching him just break down over that.
Because, I mean, obviously he didn't want to accept that fact.
Yeah, no, not at all. But, and the title itself doesn't get used until the very end of the film, where Rourke says that he's the Pope of Greenwich Village.
Yes.
So
when he's talking to
Bedbug.
Yeah, Bedbug.
The thing is I love the nickname because it ranks right up there with Bugsy, because that was supposedly why Bugsy got the nickname, because he was crazy, and that's why they called him Bugsy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
But Warren Beatty sort of like smoothed that over. No.
Do you think he smoothed it over, or do you think he fucked it up?
Depends on how you look at the film. When we get around to gangster films and things like that, we'll talk more in depth about good and bad films.
Okay.
But
right.
There's a lot of good ones out there that people don't see
or don't even know of.
Yeah, and there are a lot of actually in every category of film. There are lots of films out there that people do not know about, and there are films that are great and should be seen.
And you never heard of them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because either I've never heard of them, or nobody's ever mentioned them to me, or something like that. And that's a big part of why we do this show, is to throw out information out there for people to realize. It's like people may never have known about A Prayer for the Dying, or 9.5 Weeks, or Pope of Greenwich Village, because they were early films, and you just, people say Mickey Rourke, is like, oh geez, I don't like anything of his, but have you given it a chance?
Right. I mean, and A Prayer for the Dying, you were actually the one that lent me this movie.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I checked it out, and very good movie.
Yeah.
Very, very good movie.
Yeah. I think Pope of Greenwich Village is up there with Prayer for the Dying, because I think it's just him carrying the story. You've got all the other characters coming and going, but it's basically his story straight down the road.
Right.
And I think he does a great job of carrying it all the way from beginning to end.
And you got his creepy cousin there. Eric Roberts.
Yes. Who likes to steal from the places he works in.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious when they fired him, and it was basically like, well, what are we gonna do? And he whips out 2 bottles of champagne from his jacket and goes, we're gonna celebrate. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, you scumbag.
This is why we just got fired.
Yeah, it's like, are you happy now?
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
All right, so let's talk about The Wrestler.
All right, let's talk about The Wrestler. This was Mickey Rourke's big comeback movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is when, he really wasn't doing anything. I mean, he did a few things here and there.
Right.
But then he got his role in The Wrestler. And then all of a sudden, The Wrestler hit so close to home.
Mm-hmm.
With not only the audience, but Volt, you're a wrestling fan, right?
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, somewhat. But, it hit home with the wrestlers in the WWE, WCW, ECW, whatever the organization may be.
Right.
It hit home with them because they could relate
Right.
to what was going on. And the funny thing about the movie is that Mickey Rourke plays this wrestler who is pretty much washed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you know, he's trying to make a comeback, and he's trying to get his life together.
Right.
You know, he wants to get a girlfriend. He wants his daughter in his life. He wants all these things, but nothing just ever seems to pan out. And, you know, he wasn't the big superstar that he was in the 80s.
Right.
Because, you know, he was basically a huge star in the 80s. And then all of a sudden, hey, here he is now. And he's not as big as he used to be.
Right.
So he's working the independents. And he's going from town to town and basically getting paid shit.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, he did it to survive.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And it was a very hard-hitting movie. And if anybody hasn't seen it out there, I mean, definitely check it out. Just a great movie. But I mean, it's just like he didn't want to give up.
Right.
Almost kind of like a Rocky movie.
Yeah. But the thing is you had a better response from the industry, from the wrestling industry, about the wrestler than Stallone got with Rocky from the boxing industry.
Right.
Because they couldn't stand Rocky because it was basically, you know, just all candy, all made up.
Right.
Where this one was more realistic, and yet, you know, if non-boxers watch Rocky, which most of us are, and we're non-boxers, we accepted that this is realism. It feels real.
Realistic, yeah.
So it's on the same level as the wrestler, but the industries just didn't take them the same way.
Right. And it was just weird because, you know, Rocky was such a kind of like a big budget film back in the day.
No, it was an independent that you'd probably check the.
But it made a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah. But part of the reason why it made so much money is because Stallone, who did 3 jobs on the film, and only got paid for one. I mean, that's where you save money.
Which is bullshit. But.
Yeah, but with the wrestler, I think is Rourke's best film. Out of all the other things that he's done, this is his best film.
Right. And this was his big comeback. Excuse me. After the roller coaster ride, and then, you know, all of a sudden he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a wrestler, and he knocked it out of the park.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I can't say enough about watching this film. I love it. When you put together a list of, you know, the best top 5 films of an actor, The Wrestler for me is the top of the list for Rourke.
So you'd say that's Rourke's number 1 film?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I would say that's the top of the list for him.
And actually, it got him a spot at one of the WrestleManias.
Yeah. I mean, he also he was nominated for I believe he won the Golden Globe.
I think he did.
He won the BAFTA.
And wasn't he nominated in the Oscars?
He was nominated in the Oscars, but he didn't win. But he won the Golden Globe and he won a BAFTA. But I think that, like I said, I think that's the pinnacle of his career was with that.
Well, he got something out of the deal. I mean, great movie. What else do we got here, brother?
Well, why don't we take a break for a moment, and
okay.
And then we'll come back.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And we're back. All right. The last film we're going to talk about is Angel Heart.
And I'll be honest with you, never seen it.
You've never seen Angel Heart?
Never seen it.
Wow. And considering it's such a under the radar horror film, I figured you of all people would have seen that.
I've never seen it.
Wow.
Sorry.
Well, obviously it stars Mickey Rourke and
Obviously.
Robert De Niro, who through most of the film you don't realize that he's the devil. You get little bits and pieces along the way to figure it out.
See, now you just told me you fucked up the whole film for
Oh,
me.
come on.
You just fucked it all up for me.
You just said Mickey Rourke isn't a great actor, that you don't really watch a lot of his stuff.
I didn't say he wasn't a great actor. I'm just saying I haven't watched a lot of his movies. But now you're telling me he's in this movie with Robert De Niro, and Robert De Niro's the devil, and shit.
Spoiler alert. How's that? Or am I a little too late with that?
Yeah, a little too late.
All right. This is also the movie that Lisa Bonet.
Asshole. Go ahead.
Lisa Bonet was in. This is the one that lost her job on the Cosby Show.
Oh, because she got naked, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Bill Cosby, who had a thing about having young women being naked. At least not with him.
Let's not even go with Bill Cosby.
But he fired her because of this film.
Well, maybe he should have fired himself.
Yeah, it's true.
Jesus.
But yeah, no. This is those were the three main actors, and it was really good. I really like it. Actually, if I had top 5, like I said before, of Mickey Rourke's films, this would be number 2. This is how good he does a job in this film. Like I said, I'm surprised that it never came up on your radar.
You know what? Now that you're talking about it, I mean, I think I've seen maybe parts of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember, the Cosby Kid getting naked.
Yeah.
And all that, but other than that, I don't remember Mickey Rourke or Robert De Niro.
Oh. Because the thing is her part is, compared to what the other two are doing throughout the movie, her part's very small.
But she still gets naked.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's
2 or 3 times.
That's the part I remember.
But I mean, it all takes place, I believe, in New Orleans.
Okay.
Down south in, I want to say, the late 40s, early 50s, maybe, because there's a lot of conversation about him coming back from the war, and obviously they're talking about World War II.
Right.
So I'm saying that it's in, they probably say in the movie when it is, but if I remember correctly, it's like around the late 40s, early 50s.
So who'd she get naked with?
Mickey Rourke.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Mickey Rourke's a dirty bastard.
Yeah,
he gets naked with a lot of people.
I think between him and Richard Gere, I think they get the most
pussy.
Most pussy on screen.
I don't know about that, but that's a good point.
If Sean Bean dies the most, I mean Mickey Rourke and Richard Gere in their early career get the pussy.
Get the pussy. There's nothing wrong with pussy.
Nope, not at all. As long as that's what you like.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is another film from, I believe it was the late 80s that it was made, that it just flies under the radar. I mean, at the time, people heard about it, people knew about it, but now it's not one of those films that, people would think about.
It wasn't a blockbuster, right?
No, not at all. None of his, I don't think any of his films was really like blew the box office away in any way.
No.
And I mean, even though he was in The Expendables, it wasn't a Mickey Rourke film, The Expendables.
But I mean, it was just cool to see him in that movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I think out of all the films he was in, I think that's one of the ones that made money. I don't think
what, The Expendables?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's not a Mickey Rourke film.
No, it's definitely not.
But that's what I mean. He was involved in it and it made money. But I don't believe a lot of the other things that he did actually made money.
Because he was a co-star.
Yeah.
And, there was all these other actors in there.
Yeah, exactly.
But Expendables, great movie.
Yeah, no. At some point we'll get to talking about the three of those.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
All right, well, we're going to change gears now. And we're going to talk about a subject that it burns a hole in my heart.
Uh-oh.
Like bad heartburn.
I got some Tums.
Well, I'm gonna have to actually borrow a couple of those.
Okay.
So what we're going to talk about is reboots and remakes.
Oh no.
Now we have to admit, when you were redoing one film,
yep,
it's a remake.
Absolutely.
Okay. When you're trying to redo a series of films, that I could understand being a reboot.
Right.
Okay. You cannot do a reboot if it's a one single movie and it's like, okay, wow, look at that, it's great. No, the original was great. There's no reason to redo this.
Yeah, why fuck it up?
I swear to God, you could probably find more failed remakes than there are successes.
Yeah.
I mean,
you ain't kidding.
I mean, the worst of the worst is Psycho with Vince Vaughn.
Hated it.
And it's just horrible that they take a classic like Psycho and redo it.
I mean, what's the point?
Exactly, and it's almost word for word.
It's almost scene for scene, actually.
Yeah.
And, the way it was shot and everything. I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, but they were trying to, recreate something that was already perfect.
And now since we're talking about Alfred Hitchcock, now they're talking about remaking The Birds.
Oh, fuck off. Really?
Yeah. I know there was talk at one point that they wanted to remake The Breakfast Club, which wouldn't work.
No.
Yeah, it wouldn't, because the attitude of kids nowadays isn't the attitude of the kids in the 80s. It doesn't work like that.
But I mean, with The Birds, it'd probably all just be CGI.
Yeah.
And everything, and it might work, it might not, but I mean, the actors and actresses back then, it just seemed like it was so much more believable.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. One of the other remakes that wasn't that great was The Mechanic with Jason Statham.
Oh, he's trying to replace Charles Bronson?
Charles Bronson, yes.
Fuck, no. No.
And the way the ending of that movie was spoon-fed to the audience, which I couldn't understand why they even did that to begin with. I mean, at the end of the original Mechanic, Bronson is dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. So at the end of the remake, they do the same thing. They kill off Statham.
Right.
Beautiful. But they go back and show you how he got away from the explosion and lived. It's like, why did you do that? That ruined a decent film. And I'm not saying it was a great film. It was a decent film.
But it was one of those cliffhanger things that you used to go to the theaters to see all those years ago.
Exactly.
But
and the thing is if they left it at that the truck exploded, that he was there, you could have left it like that and still did the sequel. Because you could have then taken that little piece of him rolling away, and you could have shown that in the second film.
Yeah.
That was a security film that the police still had, but they didn't want to release it to the public. You could have still saved it like that.
But I mean, it's like why touch something? And why fuck with it?
There's no reason to go back and remake sequels. Remake films themselves. I understand that Scarface is a remake, but it's a different kind of film. It has nothing to do other than the character and the title, in the basic situation. That's it. They took it, modernized it, and redid the entire thing. You can't even tell that it's the same story.
No, you can't.
But that would work. That's fine, and it worked there.
Yeah.
But you can't do it. Look what they did to Karate Kid. Not to say that the original Karate Kid was, Gone with the Wind, but
no, it was a great film.
Yeah, but it didn't need to be remade. And when they remade it, they screwed it all up.
I like Jackie Chan.
I like Jackie Chan as well, but this movie just doesn't do it.
No.
And I mean, they were going to use that to reboot the series and go on. It didn't work.
But that's the thing with a lot of these reboots or remakes. I don't know if they're actually trying to continue the saga or whatever.
Well, I mean, they rebooted Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th.
Sucked.
Right, but those were reboots. They were trying to reboot the entire series so they can go on and make new movies.
Right.
But they both fell short. Now they're looking to remake Friday the 13th again.
And Nightmare on Elm Street, I heard.
I haven't heard that, but I knew about Friday the 13th.
But I mean, it's just like, why even bother?
I don't understand. They just don't have any brains.
Apparently not.
I don't understand why they have to go into the old stuff. And it's like, well, we have nothing else better to do. Let's spin the wheel and see what movie comes up, and we'll remake that film. Well, and if it comes up as a series, more gold for us.
Well, that's because I think Hollywood's running out of ideas.
I don't think they're running out of ideas. I think they just don't want to try. I mean, look at what they've done with the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
In the comic books. They finally realized that all these comic books that had been around for decades can now be used to make movies.
And make us money.
Yes. Exactly. So why can't they do something like that instead of remaking, they remade Night of the Creeps and turned it into Slither.
And you know what? I liked Night of the Creeps much better than I liked Slither.
I've never seen Slither. But I love Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps is a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just underrated, low-budget horror movie, but, I mean, it was fun.
Yes.
And then you watch Slither and you're like, okay, you just remade this movie, but you fucked it up in the process.
Mm-hmm. And that seems to be the MO of any movie that's a remake. From Hollywood film, I want to say like the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Most remakes or most reboots that they try to do fall short.
I mean, look at The Omen.
Oh my God.
That sucked.
I thought I thought when they got to Omen 4, I thought they had a nice twist to that film that they could have built on from there.
And turned it around to something else.
And turned it on, and it would have been, it could have gone Omen 5, 6, whatever, from there. But what they did with this, what was it, the Omen 666 or something like that?
Something stupid like that.
Yeah. They tried to redo the entire thing, but there was no atmosphere.
No,
that was the biggest thing about the original Omen. It actually had atmosphere. It made you feel creeped out watching it.
But watching the story, you didn't buy it. You weren't into it.
Yes.
Another example, the remake of Carrie.
Oh my God!
Holy shit!
That was horrendous. That was horrendous.
It was bad.
And the worst part about it is that when you end up making good films like that, the original Carrie was a great film.
Oh, awesome movie.
When you go to remake a film like that, you're drawn to try to stay as close to the original story as possible.
Right.
But you don't want to stay right on top of it.
Right. I mean, you want a little twist and changes here.
Yeah, and especially since that was done in the 70s, and now we're looking at, when was it done, in the early 2000s?
Yeah. Oh my God.
So you could update the story and everything. You could do a lot more with it, but they didn't decide to do it that way. It just amazes me the mentality that it takes to do some of these things. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Player.
The Player, no.
No. Okay. At the beginning of the movie, they talk. They do this long shot, and it actually starts at one doorway, and it follows people around the parking lot and everything. And it's just one shot, no cuts. It just goes from here, and it comes back. Okay.
Okay.
When it comes back to the office of one of the producers, and he's listening to the people in there that are pitching new stories, right?
Right.
What they're doing, it shows how much mentality that is in Hollywood. What they're doing is they're pitching combination ideas. I know this isn't one of them, but they have like, well, it'd be like Mad Max, but with The Graduate. Which, when you think about it, that's what some of these movies are now. These crazy ideas. It's like, we're gonna shoot it like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but it's gonna be Psycho.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do nowadays.
And now that I just said that was American Psycho, because it was shot in the way that Ferris Bueller would talk to the camera,
which I wasn't a fan of. But I've seen it.
But there's another one, which happens a lot. That book for American Psycho, compared to the movie, the book is like 100 times better than the movie.
As they usually are.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things in different movies, like especially if you read the book before you see the movie that it's based on.
Right.
There's always something in the book that, if it was a book that was beforehand and not a movie tie-in, because movie tie-ins are usually written straight from the first script.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll find things in those books that weren't shot, or they were shot and they cut that out because it didn't work, but it's still in the book.
Right.
Okay. When you have books that have been out on the market for years, months, whatever, there's always something in there that they just can't shoot. That was one of the things about
for one reason or another.
That was one of the big things about why they thought the Star Trek animated series would work on television, because there was so many things that they could do in animation that you just couldn't do live action. but think about it. All the aliens in Star Trek had to be humanoid. You had to do them 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head. There was no way you could do it. Makeup, and that's about it. But in animation, you do 8 arms and a plantish head. All these different things. And you could actually do that with some of these movies. There's always something now you just use CGI, but there's always something that's left out of the book.
Right.
My perfect example of that is when they did 2010, the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. I read the book when the book first came out, and there's a spot in the book when David Bowman's spirit comes out, and he actually flies through Jupiter, and he actually narrates how he's going through the different layers of gases, and that in each layer there are life forms that live in those layers of gases, but because they can't go into another layer, they have no idea that there's anything else alive. Okay?
Gotcha.
Which is a great concept.
It is.
That you could actually you could do that and have the spirit just going through. But when he gets to the core of Jupiter, okay, the core of Jupiter is a diamond, a solid diamond the size of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I read that, it's just like, wow, that I can't imagine seeing something like that. So when I heard that they were making the film, I thought, oh my God, that would be something great up on the screen. Watch him going through layer after layer after layer, down to the core. Has nothing in the film.
That's movie making for you.
Yeah, but if they ever, not that I'm asking them to remake 2010 or even 2001.
No. Don't touch it.
No, but if they did, I would love to see that scene put in, because I think that would be a phenomenal scene.
All right, I got a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
A remake
Uh-huh.
of a classic horror movie.
Okay.
We've already talked about a few.
All right.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Oh my God.
What did you think of it?
Oh, do we have to talk about it?
Honestly, I mean,
It's the concept. Well, let me do it. Let me say this.
Okay.
The concept that he was working with would have worked if he stayed more to not adding more. Like he could have reshot the film, just updated it, since again that was shot in the late 70s.
Right.
If he reshot it and modernized it and played a little bit with the story, he played too much with the story. I think that's what I'm getting at. He made too many changes, made too many added information. I mean, when he got to the second film and it turned out that he had another sister.
Well, we won't even talk about Halloween 2.
Yeah, but I mean but again, that's another remake.
Which sucked ass, and we're not even going to talk about
Well,
that.
I mean, but that's the thing. It sucked more than the first one, which
Right.
most sequels do anyways. But excuse me.
But I mean, did you honestly think that Rob Zombie's version sucked? I mean, he got into more depth of how Michael Myers became Michael Myers.
Yeah,
And, he changed a few things here and there, and I thought that was cool. But the whole movie just...
Yeah, see, I think he made too many changes. I mean, yeah, you want to make some, but he was making too many.
Okay.
He was just making too many. And then when he got to do the sequel, he just perpetuated that. Not only did he make more, not only did he carry on those changes, but he made even more.
Yeah, which
drew you further into the bog. And when you finally get to the end, it's like, I can't even get out of this marsh. It's just swallowing me up.
But I mean, there was some scenes in Halloween 2 with the mother, and those scenes when, she's like almost like a ghost and everything.
Yeah.
It was just like, I was like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
It was like, it didn't make any sense. And Michael Myers is walking around, he's all homeless and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you know what? You lost me.
Yeah.
I was like, bye.
It was, again, another one of those movies that I waited for it to come out on disc before I actually watched it. Didn't go to the theater to it because I didn't want to. I didn't want it. I had too many good memories with the original to have to go through and watch a bad sequel.
Now, are we talking about Carpenter's? Or?
Yes, Carpenter's.
Yes.
I mean, the Rob Zombie's 2 Halloween films, I didn't go to the theater to see them. I waited till they came out on disc.
Right.
Because I just didn't want to... I didn't want to have to go to the theater and say, geez, I saw both Halloweens and...
They sucked.
there's $24 that I've lost. You'll never get back.
See, I enjoyed Halloween 1, Rob Zombie's.
Mm-hmm.
But the Halloween 2 one, I was just like, all right, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah. I mean, again, they're movies that I have, but because I have the whole
collection.
The whole collection.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think of the new Halloween?
Oh, the one with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
Actually, I thought it was pretty decent. I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the original.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Rob Zombies thing. But yeah, I dug it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a decent remake.
Yeah, and they're actually considering it just another sequel in the line, because the one thing that I caught watching this new film
Mm-hmm.
was the line that they used saying They didn't tell the public that Michael had escaped because they didn't want anybody to know about it.
And they never told you that.
Right, but that works also in the line that because everybody's talking about that this sequel actually takes the place after Halloween 2.
Right.
Happened is Halloween 2. But
they get rid of all the other sequels.
Right, but with that one line saying that we're not telling the public because we never have when he escapes. So that says all the other sequels are still active because we never told the public that he escaped. So it means every time he escaped, they went looking for him on their own. Probably anybody that died, they attributed it to somebody else or what, but they never said about anything about Michael being gone. So all this time, Michael has only been in the prison. That's what the public knows. But we know that he's been escaping
and been doing all this shit
periodically.
Right.
So you can look at it either way. This is either the third film in the original Halloween, or it would be, I think, the 9th or the 10th, depending on how you want to look at it.
Right. But I mean, I think the way they went into making this was the direct sequel from the 1978 movie. And, but here's the thing that was confusing to me. They never explained how Michael Myers was recaptured.
Right. Which happens he was recaptured at the end of the last film. That's what I'm saying. Because they don't you're Joe Q Public, okay? You're just living in Bloomfield or whatever.
I'm Popcorn Pete. Who are you?
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're the public in this movie.
So I'm Popcorn Public.
We're not telling you that Michael has escaped.
Okay.
All right? So as far as you know, he's still in prison. So when we capture him at the end of film 6, we put him back in prison. You're not the wiser.
Okay, but I mean, there's been a lot of stupid shit that's happened in the Halloween movies, like Jamie Lee Curtis died, and Michael Myers got his head chopped off. Just stupid shit.
Yeah, what happened to Jason?
Don't let me start.
Yeah, but look at Jason. Jason was the perfect kind of character for a horror series to just keep going and going and going. You don't have to explain anything about Jason. Everybody wants to know the backstory. We learned the backstory about Freddy Krueger in the remake. Was that very helpful? No.
That sucked ass.
So, do we need to explain what these psychotic killers came from, or what their backstory is? We really don't need the backstory.
No, we don't.
No, and I think that actually helps the storyline if you don't know the backstory.
Because it makes you more curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the public starts screaming, we want to know where he comes from, don't listen to them. You're going to make something that's going to be crap. So why go through all that?
But I mean, here's the thing. I mean, when you have a successful movie.
Yes.
And then you make all this money off it.
Yes.
I mean, even if you don't think the movie's going to make that much money.
Right, yeah.
All of a sudden, it makes all this money, and the theaters say, hey, let's make another movie.
Right, that's great, but let's not remake it. Let's just do a sequel.
And sometimes the sequels don't even work out.
No, but obviously most sequels make money.
Well,
because what did we go up to? We went up to 12 or 13 Friday the 13th? 12?
I think it's 12.
Yeah. I mean, obviously each one was making money to make the next one.
Yeah.
Same thing with Freddy Krueger. I mean,
a lot of them was shit.
Yes, but it still made money because people go on that opening weekend and say, I got to see this. I want to see this.
Right.
And then it makes the money in the first 2 weeks. I mean, how long does a movie stay in the theater now? 3-4 weeks now?
if that.
And because the industry is learning, the studios are learning that the money now is in the home theaters. If I like the movie, I'm going to go in. If I like the actors, if I like the director, if I'm really interested, and I can't afford to go to the theater. Consider what is it, $40 now per person for tickets?
Pretty much, including popcorn.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wait for it to come out on disc where it's under 20,
Right.
and I'll watch it that way. And I'll watch it on my big screen television, relaxing in my recliner. And the best thing is when I want something to eat, it's not going to cost me extra.
True.
And if I have to go to the bathroom, I can stop and pause the movie so I don't miss anything.
This is true.
One of the things that I've noticed on a few of the last movies that I purchased, which I don't know if it's something that's industry wide or if it's something new just with a few that I've had, there are no trailers at the beginning of the movies.
What, on the DVDs?
On the DVDs or the Blu-rays.
There are some.
But that's what I mean. I don't know if it's something the industry is starting to do, because I remember when, every single video cassette or every single DVD had at least 2 or 3 movies that they were advertising.
Like 5 or 6, and you're like, oh, come on, let's get to the movie.
Yeah. But, I mean, the last 2 or 3 that I picked up didn't have any. So I was just curious if that was just something that they were like sliding into.
So it just went straight to the video.
Yeah, it was just a couple of things here and there. The copyright thing.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the movie. And it's like, what's the hell? What's wrong with this? I'll tell you a small story. Okay, about trailers.
Small story.
A small story. Okay. I owned the disc, the DVD disc for Die Hard.
Yep.
Okay, and I owned the video cassette before that. Okay.
And the video cassette had more trailers?
No. What they did was, instead of making the DVD better than the video cassette, it was almost like a direct transfer. Okay, everything that was on the DVD on the video cassette, they moved to the DVD. Okay, even the trailers. Okay, they were the same 2 or 3 trailers that were on the video cassette were on the DVD. Okay, now, a friend of mine wanted to borrow Die Hard. I said, sure, no problem. Pulled it out. He borrowed it.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple weeks later, he returns it, and he said, you know what? There's a trailer for a gangster film at the beginning of this movie. I can't remember the name of it. I said, oh, that's Miller's Crossing. And he just looked at me and goes, how the fuck did you know that was Miller's Crossing on there? I said, well, I'll tell you. I said, listen. And I told him the story about having it a direct transfer. That they moved the same trailers over to the DVD.
Right.
And I told him, I said, I've watched it so many times, and I love Miller's Crossing. I own it. I said, I watched it so many times. I knew what the trailers were. So when you said that it was the trailer at the beginning and it was gangster, I said, oh yeah, that's Miller's Crossing. He thought it was the most amazing thing of memory that he'd ever seen, because that's all it was. He just said it was at the beginning of this movie. Now, how many times do you remember the trailers at the beginning of the films?
Unless it's like a Star Wars trailer or something like that.
But could you remember which trailer it was on which movie?
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that he was saying. It's like, how can you know that? It's like, it's just me.
Okay, I got another one for you.
Okay.
And, we're going into the horror topic, but
yeah.
The Evil Dead remake.
Oh, my God. Again, if they left it alone at one point at the ending, they could have survived with a decent film.
But here's the thing.
But they take it one step further.
But, here's the thing. I actually dug the movie.
Yeah.
Until I get to the halfway point.
Yeah.
And then just at the end, the whole thing fell apart.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Now the only horror remakes that I've seen that have done real well was when Hammer Studios remade the old classics. When they redid Frankenstein, they redid Dracula, they redid The Mummy. They did it right. I think that's what modern cinema now is missing out on. What Hammer did to those original stories. Because, it's a remake of a story we've already seen.
Yeah, we already know.
But they twisted it just enough that it worked. Now, if the studios now could do what Hammer did in the '60s, then I think they would be making movies that are classics.
Right.
But it's just not working.
But back to the Evil Dead. I was actually digging it. I was getting into it. I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. We got some good special effects in. Mm-hmm. But then, towards the end, like I said, the movie it fell apart. And I was like, what did you guys do?
But it's, again, there was no reason to remake that film. No reason.
No, there wasn't.
And if they were looking to reboot the series, that's an even worse thing. Because there's no reason to redo the series.
I don't even want to talk about Ash versus the Evil Dead because not a big fan.
No, not at all. But there's things like it. Well, look, since we were talking about remakes and reboots and things like that, there's still talk around the industry that they want to remake Jaws.
No fucking way.
And they want to do the shark as CGI.
No.
And go back to the original script so you see more of the shark.
I get there. I understand that they want to, stick to the book.
Well, no. That's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying because the script is nowhere close to the book.
No, I know. I know. The script's totally different.
But what I mean is, like, it was a blessing in disguise that they couldn't get the shark to work the way they wanted it to.
Right.
And it worked. So why screw up with perfection?
Right. But I actually heard talk of Spielberg wanted to go back.
Yeah.
After the whole, hey, George Lucas is making Star Wars and,
but
he's got all the CGI.
Yeah, but I think he had that idea at the same time George was talking about going back and redoing A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Which a lot of people hated.
That they hated Return of the Jedi.
No.
What are you talking about then?
The added footage.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about the added footage. I'm talking about reshooting the entire films.
Oh.
So they would be more in line with the first three films that he did. 1, 2, and 3.
No.
That's what he wanted. I think that was around the same time that Spielberg was talking about redoing Jaws with all new footage, that kind of thing. But I just don't think it would work. I just don't think so.
Spielberg hated the original. The whole experience.
Yes.
With Jaws, he hated that. I don't think he would have been involved with that.
Well, I think even if he did, I think the entire thing would be done in studio now. You wouldn't do it out in the open ocean. Come on, they did Jaws: The Revenge, all in that huge tank.
Yeah.
On the Universal lot. They did the entire movie there.
And
all the water scenes.
And it sucked.
Right. But if you redid Jaws now, you wouldn't go out to the ocean. You would do it all right there in the tank.
Yeah, but man, Steven was ahead of his time.
Yep, he was
ahead of his time.
And you can see it in Jaws because most directors would have kept fighting to get the shark working.
Yeah.
He just came up with ways of shooting around it.
Right.
So,
which was genius.
Yes, it was. And considering his age at the time, it was amazing.
And what was he, like 24?
Yeah, he was in his 20s.
Something like that.
So it alone is amazing. If you talk about amazing, what he did was the TV movie he did, Duel. I think Duel was a TV movie.
Yeah, it was. It was a TV movie.
And that he shot on a TV budget.
Right.
So, and that was a phenomenal film. That those are the kind of films that you sit there and go, oh my God, if they remake that, I'm just gonna slip my wrists.
But I mean, Spielberg compared Jaws to Duel.
Yeah.
Because he was like, chasing each other.
The chase scenes and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have had such a success with Jaws if he hadn't made Duel, because of the stuff that he learned in Duel. And what was the other one he did? Sugarland Express. It was another chase movie. And I think the chase films that he does is rather good. I know you don't like it, but 1941 is partially a chase film as well.
No, I didn't hate 1941.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Oh, okay.
I just, because it bombed in the theater, I was kind of like, that kind of sucks for Spielberg.
I loved it, and I don't know if it was because of all the great actors that are in it, or if it's just
great cast.
If it was just Spielberg, or but I loved it. So
I mean, and you got the music by John Williams.
Mm-hmm. who's done almost all of Spielberg's films.
Yeah, and I think his first collaboration with him was on Jaws, if I'm not mistaken.
That's something I'd have to look up, because I'd be interested in see where exactly he and Spielberg started.
I think it was Jaws.
Yeah, because I know Williams did the music for Lost in Space,
mm-hmm.
which to me I still love that theme song. So, but yeah, he's actually somebody else that we'd have to take a look at and talk about on another show. It's all of Williams.
Oh, John Williams?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we should actually do that. Not to wish him any bad ill will or anything like that, but I think we should do that soon before he dies, because I saw that he's in the hospital, I think, sick with something.
Oh no.
So, and he had also said the last Star Wars film that he did for music was the last Star Wars film. He wouldn't do any more if they came up with another Star Wars film.
Really?
Yeah, he had said that. So I don't know if the last one he did was it, or he's talking about this one that's coming.
I mean, but he's conducted so many great theme music.
He's talking about movies with sequels and reboots and everything like that. He did the original Superman. Christopher Reeves.
Yes.
And there's another reboot or remake, however you want to look at it. That's horrendous. I'm sorry. What is it, Henry Cavill or something like that?
Which one are we talking about?
The newest one.
Not the Superman Returns.
No. This is the one where he dies. Superman versus Batman.
Oh, you don't like that Superman?
No, I listen. I love Christopher Reeves.
We all do.
Well, not if you're going to remake his films. Now, I want to talk about one film.
Okay.
Okay, that I keep hearing that they're going to remake, and I think it's a bad idea. Okay. Escape from New York.
No fucking way.
Yep.
No.
I heard that they wanted to remake that because obviously the two. Well, directly it only had one sequel, Escape from L.A.,
which wasn't exactly great.
No, it wasn't. But the third film that was supposed to be we've talked about this before.
Yeah, Escape from Earth.
Escape to Earth, because that's where Lockout is. Supposedly Lockout, which I can't remember the actor who was in that. That was supposed to be Escape to Earth. Because if you watch that and you just visualize the main actor with an eye patch,
mm-hmm.
It's Snake Plissken.
I don't know if that would have worked.
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know if the whole thing would have worked.
That's the thing. I think that what it was is that was the script for Escape to Earth, and when it had been kicking around. So because Carpenter didn't want to do it, and Kurt Russell didn't want to do it because Kurt Russell wouldn't do an escape movie unless Carpenter was attached. They rewrote some of it for the main character and then gave it a new title.
Well, what I heard was, Kurt Russell didn't like to do sequels, but he did Escape from L.A. as a favor to John Carpenter.
Right.
And then, I guess, the rumors here.
Which are always great.
Yeah, they're always great. But, I heard John Carpenter was like, everybody was asking me for all these years to bring back Snake Plissken. I finally bring him back. And nobody went to the theater to see it.
Right.
So that's why they didn't do it.
Right, yeah. But what I think was interesting was that the script had been kicking around, and they they changed it, but they didn't change it enough because I didn't go to the theater to see it, and when I first watched it, I'm sitting there going, geez, this seems like I've seen this character before. And I looked it up, and it was like, no, this is the only film, with this character and everything. So I started thinking about it and remembered the conversation we had about Escape to Earth. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? When the next time I watched it, I visualized Kurt Russell in that role.
Okay.
And it was like, it works. This is Escape to Earth. And I actually had a couple of other people who had seen it. I said, now when you watch it again, keep Kurt Russell in mind when you're watching that main character. And both people came back and said, you're right. If you could have changed the name to Snake Plissken, and it would have gone across. It was just another escape film.
Oh yeah. You were telling me about that. I've never seen it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's one of the ones that you should take a look at.
I'll definitely check it out.
I think that'd be good. There was one other remake that I wanted to mention. Oh, actually, we were talking about it today.
Okay.
I had caught wind that they wanted to remake 2 Humphrey Bogart films.
Oh God.
So now they're going way back. Okay, they want to remake and update it to current times. They want to redo Casablanca. See, that's the reaction I had. It's
No way.
What in the world are you thinking? All
Why?
Right? I don't understand.
Why?
Why don't I understand?
No. I'm not saying why do you not understand.
No, I know. I understand.
I'm on the same page as you, but what the fuck, man? Really?
Yep. They want to remake Casablanca and update it. The other Bogart film that they want to remake, which would be an instance that I would actually storm Hollywood and try to stop the production. They want to redo The Maltese Falcon.
No.
Yes.
No.
Can you believe that?
What the fuck? Why?
Because this is what we were discussing, that Hollywood has no new ideas.
Exactly.
But the thing is that if they tried a little harder to look. I mean, there's obviously plays that are successful that they could make movies of. There are books that are successful. Even non-successful books could have been turned into movies.
Right.
There's all kinds of things. We were talking about the comic book industry. There's decades of comic books of characters that you could have picked up and done. Why do you need to go back and remake or reboot or do anything to the older films?
Because it's stupid?
This is as stupid as when they were doing it in the 80s and they were colorizing them.
Oh my God! Let's not even go there.
Yeah, no, I don't even want to talk about that. But I mean, that's the thing. All right, I think we're pretty much done for the evening.
I think so.
All right. You want to talk about the our list of people we need to thank and everything?
Well, I'd like to give a special shout out to Canucks Cannoli from Canada.
Producer.
Our producer, our MMO Mafia Mania member. And I just also want to say that, anytime that we play a theme music or play a movie clip, that we do not own the copyrights to that. And anything else you want to say?
Well, I'd like to remind everybody of the formats we can be found on, which is iTunes, Spotify. We have a Facebook page that you can also connect with. I believe it's Anchor, and
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes, you can find us on there.
And I think this is becoming real good, real popular with our listeners. And I'd actually like to throw a question out to the listeners. If there's any movies or actors or directors or anything like that you'd like us to focus on for a show, please send us an email. You can get in touch with us through Facebook. Our producer is always watching the box for that. So if you do send in questions or anything like that, he will answer within a day or two. If depending on if he can answer it himself or get a hold of one of us.
Yes, please give us your information. We're always curious of what you want to hear, what you want to listen to, and what you might be curious about. So, for tonight, I'm Popcorn Pete.
Vinny the Vault.
And we are calling this a night, and thank you for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Bye.